Hello everyone. In this video, let us take a look at some of the recent updates in the Atlassian ecosystem. Now, I keep an eye on various events, things, updates, especially related to Atlassian tools and things like new events, if there is a new feature or if there's a new product launch, because I want to know about these things. I want to learn. I want to keep myself up to date, and I am doing all these things because this knowledge helps me to do my job efficiently, and I need to know what is happening in the Atlassian ecosystem because I can, based on this knowledge, help other clients, other customers, and also help you guys. So let us start by looking at the first item in my list, and that is JiraCon. Now, JiraCon is one event that will happen in October 5th and 6th, and I think this event looks really promising. I was looking at the agenda, and I was looking at the companies who will be sponsoring this event. So you can see here that all the famous Atlassian partner companies are participating. They are sponsoring, and the list of speakers who will be delivering talks. When you look at their names, I think these are all smart people who have been contributing towards Atlassian ecosystem, and I think if you want to learn from them, then this event can be really useful. Do take a look at the agenda as well. So if you go to the very top, you have a link where you can see the list of all the talks. So these talks will cover, I believe, a lot of things. So things like migration, things like best practices, and these talks from experts will, I believe, help you in expanding your knowledge about Atlassian tools and how Atlassian tools are used in different situations. So do take a look at JiraCon. You can sign up for this if you go to jiracon.trundle.com, trundl.com. The second item in my list is the lightning talk on Confluence. Now, I think Confluence is a very simple, easy to use, intuitive tool, and that is how a tool should be. You should not have to worry about understanding all the features of the tool before giving it a try. I mean, you can start using Confluence even today, right now. You can go to Atlassian website, sign up for a cloud instance, and you will get a cloud Confluence environment to play with. And when you have one environment where you can play with different things that you can do with Confluence, I think you will realize that it is absolutely straightforward, simple to use tool. But of course, if someone tells you about, let us say, these 5 or 6 or 7 things or 10 things that you can also do with Confluence. I mean, of course, tool should be easy to use, but there are so many features, there are so many capabilities of the tool that will come into picture when you're trying to solve your own problem. And in the beginning, it might not be easy, straightforward to basically understand all the features of a tool. But if you take a look at their lightning talk series on Confluence, I think you have this wonderful opportunity to quickly grasp or quickly understand various things that Confluence has to offer. So you can sign up for this lightning talk. I will of course share the link so you can take a look at what all you can do with Confluence. The series here will start, or has started actually, in the month of August, so a couple of weeks from now, and it will most likely go on for, I believe, a few more weeks. So the last talk or the last session or the last video that you will find here will be released in the month of September. And you can see here that these different topics will help you understand Confluence better. I have also started doing a lot of things, wonderful things with Confluence. I think I made few videos on Confluence, and I also started doing videos on Confluence REST API. I mean, my area of interest, my focus has always been automation, doing things efficiently, integrating Atlassian tools with other tools, and I also talk about Confluence, but of course not that much. So I highly recommend you to sign up and register for this lightning talk series from Atlassian. The third item I have in my list is the podcast called DevOpsDecrypted. So DevOpsDecrypted is a new podcast from Adaptivist, and Adaptivist is already running this podcast called Atlassian Ecosystem, which I highly recommend you to follow. You can of course go to either Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or Spotify, or you can just go to the website and find the links that are relevant for you. If you're on Spotify, if you prefer Spotify, so definitely you can also find them on Spotify. So this new podcast, DevOps Decrypted, as the name suggests, will be focused more on DevOps, not just Atlassian tools, or basically along with Atlassian tools, how you can use Atlassian tools and how you can use other tools and technologies to deliver your product faster, quicker. So DevOps is another huge area, and Atlassian tools, they are always part of this whole DevOps practices anyway. So in case you are doing something with Atlassian tools and you want to learn a bit more, maybe you want to expand your knowledge and you also want to touch upon DevOps area, then you should definitely take a look at DevOps Decrypted podcast. The good thing about podcast is that you don't have to actively as compared to videos, as compared to watching a video on YouTube where you have to pay attention, the good thing about podcast is that you can just play it in the background. Maybe you're doing some light work, or maybe you're out for a walk. I usually, when I am outside for a walk, or maybe when I'm running or cycling, I sometimes listen to podcast, mostly when I'm walking, because I am not really focused on anything else apart from walking. So I want to maybe sometimes listen to these podcasts. I think podcasts are great for learning, because when you hear these experts talking about something, you can absorb their brain by just listening to them, and I think it is a great way. So do take a look at the Adaptivist podcast. And by the way, I also have a podcast, so if you go to my website ravisagar.in, you will find a link. I'm on Spotify, Apple, and also on Google Podcast. I also share things related to not just Atlassian tools, but technology in general. But of course my focus has always been Atlassian tools like Jira, and also I talk quite a lot about Linux, Emacs, open source technologies. So do take a look at do subscribe to my podcast as well. I'm doing a bit of self promotion. The fourth item that I have in my list is the place where you can find all the events or things that are happening in the Atlassian ecosystem, and that is basically this site, this URL called atlassian.com/company/events. So if you're doing something with Atlassian tools, or maybe you're interested in learning more like me, so do take a look at this particular site, where you will find information about anything that happens in Atlassian ecosystem. And because it is the Atlassian's own website, you will find relevant links all the time. So for example, if you want to know about Team Tour, so of course this is now closed, but you can find the links to all the old videos. And also if you scroll down a bit, you will find this particular section where you can find more about the Atlassian community events or the partner events or partner podcast. So for example, if you want to, let us take a look at the partner events, this particular site. Here you will find the list of all the events that are happening or that will happen. It could be a webinar, it could be any relevant event. So if you follow this particular page, you can actually find the information about these events. And I think this can be a great place. Of course, you don't have to participate in all of them, but you have a place where you can find and pick and choose the events that are relevant and helpful. So do take a look. So mostly webinars. I mean, I used to do a lot of webinars, and I think webinars are also great because you have someone live talking to you. Of course, it's a broadcast, but you will also get this opportunity to maybe ask questions. So do take a look at this particular site here, Atlassian Events portal, where you will always find information about events. The fifth item I have in my list is the cloud migration. Now I have recently started and talking and sharing things related to cloud migration, which is of course the logical thing to do because people are moving towards cloud, and when they are moving towards cloud, they have to of course worry about whether they can migrate their data, whether they can migrate all the customizations, all the integrations, or whether they will be able to migrate and also merge to an existing cloud instance. Maybe organizations have been using multiple Jira or Confluence instances on server, but now they have to consolidate and move those projects or spaces to cloud, and at the same time making sure that their integrations, their automations will also work, or at least they have an alternative. And of course, when you're moving towards cloud, you also have to worry about training people. So if you are starting your journey of cloud migration, maybe you have this in your plan in the next few months, or hopefully in the next 6 months, because in the next couple of years, I think a lot of people will move towards cloud, and you have to start early. You have to plan your work. And if you want to know and learn about it, I think this particular portal, atlassian.com/migration/cloud, I will share the link. Don't worry about the link. You can find a lot about migration. You can learn about it, and you can actually learn by signing up for these demos, and you'll find links to various resources. And I think this particular portal is a great place. I think Atlassian has done a really good job by consolidating everything at a single place. For example, if you want to do some self-guided study, you can click on this link, and you can learn about the migration process from server to cloud. And of course, these links will help you in understanding the process, not only the process, but also the technicalities of how it will be done. And if you have any issues, how to contact the support, what kind of problems you may encounter, what all you can do about your apps, can you migrate your app data or not? So there are so many things. I mean, migration is not really a simple thing to do. And in the beginning, I think it is more about understanding how to do it and planning. I think that is really important. And because Jira is an important tool, people use Jira to solve their problems. People use Jira to actually deliver great products in the market. So this migration has to be taken seriously. And the last item, and the sixth item in my list, is this particular blog. I normally follow Atlassian blog. I think they do a great job when it comes to sharing knowledge online. I think they are very active as well, and I appreciate this because when you read these wonderful articles, when you also spend time looking at different kind of things that Atlassian has to share, I think you learn quite a lot. And especially for a person like me who is an Atlassian consultant. I mean, my main job is to help other organizations. I'm a consultant, and one key area of our job is communication. So I was looking at this particular blog post, a recent blog post from Atlassian that talks about how to communicate effectively. And this particular blog post talks about a few words that you should not use when you are communicating, when you are dealing with someone professionally, of course. And this particular article is great in my opinion. I think by just spending like 10-20 minutes, you will learn not even 20 minutes. I think to read this article you need maybe 5 or 10 minutes max, and you will gain lot of things. For example, this particular article talks about words that you should avoid using. For example, mission critical, and it happens quite a lot. I mean, when you're communicating with your clients, or maybe your colleagues, or maybe when you are talking internally, I think when you use words like mission critical, or words like seamless, and words like full disclosure, full transparency, I think these words don't really convey the message clearly all the time. When you say something like mission critical, are we talking about something where we are launching a rocket to Mars? So this article is really helpful. So when you are talking to someone, when you are dealing professionally with someone, we have to be clear, and we have to be very concise as well. But at the same time, don't use words that are misleading, or that are probably not really depicting the exact situation correctly, or in a clear manner. So this particular blog post, I will share the link, is I think a great example, and this is something that I also try to do on my blog post. So if you go to my blog post, ravisaga.in, I, of course, my main focus is and has always been Atlassian tools, but I talk about other things as well. I talk about things that I'm talking about non-technical things. I'm talking about things that are not always related to technical stuff, because doing technical work is fine, but even if you are a developer, or maybe you are a geek, or maybe you are very introvert, it doesn't mean that you should not be good in communicating with others. This is like a very common perception, that people who are technical in nature, people who are not really very social, they cannot communicate well. I think this is not really true at all. It can be applicable for anyone. And even if you are a developer, or if you are a techie, you can still be a techie, like hardcore techie, but at the same time, you can have wonderful communication skills. Having good communication skills is, I believe, is a key, I guess, these days, in case you want to be successful, because you cannot really work alone on your computer all the time. You have to talk to other people, you have to communicate, you have to interact with others all the time. So these kind of blog posts from Atlassian, I think, are a great example of how to communicate effectively, and that is all I wanted to talk about in this particular video. And I will now plan to create similar short, not very short, but 10-ish minute videos or podcast on a regular basis, because I do that anyway. I do these things anyways. I always, whenever I'm maybe having my tea, or whenever I'm relaxing, not really working, not really doing proper work, I do, of course, spend time online and looking for these updates. And I do keep a list with me all the time. You will always find some kind of an update on my website, or maybe I'm making a video about it. So I do that anyways, but now I'm thinking of naming this. I do have a playlist called Atlassian News or Atlassian Updates, but now I will make sure that I create one post. It could be a blog post, it could be a podcast, or it could be a video. I think it will be a combination of all three. So normally what I do, I normally start by writing a post, and then I make a video out of it, and I also convert that video to a podcast in case it can be converted to a podcast. And then of course I have this post, a single post where you can either read read the updates or read whatever I have to say, or you can watch the video if you prefer looking at me, or you can listen to my podcast. So that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.